And welcome to another edition of Ralph Williams One-on-One. We finally got our technical issues straightened out, and now I have with me Chef Brian Duffy. And if you were watching earlier on the other portion the 20 minutes ago or so, we were able to do that. And now let's welcome Chef Brian Duffy.
Hey,
Chef
what's going
Duffy,
on,
welcome to the program.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Thank you. And Chef, it's great to have you aboard here on Ralph Williams One-on-One. It's a pleasure to have you on here. My question to you, I want to ask you a few questions here. How did you get started as a chef? What made you get into being a chef?
I mean, I grew up in a very large Irish and Italian family with 6 of us. So food has always been kind of a part of our life with all of that. Yeah. Sunday meals, the whole 9 yards. I mean, they were a really big play into kind of my family world that I live in. So for me, it was just kind of a no-brainer. I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do or what direction I wanted to go. So I started looking culinary because I was cooking for friends and making some money and stuff like that. So honestly, one of my buddies was like, you should really think about doing something with this. You're pretty talented. So that was it. That was my kick. That was my boost. And here I am now.
I understand you have a barbecue restaurant outside of Philly in Dunmire, PA. Do you still have that?
1, no, it's Ardmore, and 2, no.
Ardmore, I'm sorry.
I sold that 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
How was your experience with John Taffer on Bar Rescue? I saw several episodes with you on there, and I really enjoyed them. What was that experience like?
It was a boatload of fun. We had an amazing crew that we all worked with, and it was just a really, really very professional and friendly work environment when you were dealing with the crew. John's a yeller and a screamer, and he's the kind of guy who, he has his ball, and if he doesn't like what you're doing, he takes his ball and he goes home.
I like that. I like when that happens. The best one I like was when you guys did that biker bar out in Pawcatuck, Connecticut. And you went, "Here come the boys!" When the motorcycle gang showed up and went, that was funny as can be, man. At the handlebar.
We had a lot of fun. That was a great episode. That was our first season, and actually, I think that was the last episode of the first season. So I ended up doing 3 episodes, I believe.
Right.
3 seasons, not 3 episodes. Geez, I did about 3 seasons with those guys, and then time to move on.
What happened to that show you had on where you were helping a restaurant? I think it was 1 or 2 episodes I watched on. It was on the Food Network. What happened to that show?
So that was called Opening Night, and that was a show that we shot prior to pandemic, and it just kind of had some bad luck across the board in the way that things happen. They constantly were switching through executive producers, so different visions for the show. And then, in reality, they kind of gave me some pretty shitty time slots with the way that stuff came up. The first night, opening night for the show itself, which was called Opening Night, also coincided with opening night of Monday Night Football. We didn't get the numbers that we really had wanted to or anticipated right in the beginning. It was a great show. I also think it was, Food Network really likes to go in the direction of competition and stuff like that. This was really much more of a kind of business related show. So we ran our 4 episodes or however many we did. And that was about it. Then the next thing you know, pandemic hit. So everything, they weren't doing anything that had to do with travel or going in a restaurant at that point.
How did you handle the pandemic, Chef? Because I know some people didn't handle it very well. How did you handle it?
Say that one more time.
How did you handle the pandemic? As a chef, and
it was one of the greatest 2-year periods of my life.
Oh, okay.
At pandemic, we had a really, really good run with everything that we did. It's not that it was super profitable. It's that it was super fulfilling on many levels. Because we made amazing friends. We fed a tremendous amount of people, whether it be from hospitality or from healthcare workers and first responders. We really spent a tremendous amount of time doing that. And then honestly, for me on a personal level, it put me in a wonderful space. I had the opportunity to drive around with nobody else being anywhere. While everybody else was kind of scared to go anywhere, I was flying anywhere I could. You know, flights were super cheap. I was flying in and out of Miami for $114 round.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
So for me, I flew about, I was doing about, I think 60, 70,000 miles a year during those 2 years. Where, you know, I mean, I mountain biked and hiked through Big Sky and Yellowstone. And I just really tried to take as much advantage of the fact that the world was locked down for so many people, unless you had a set of balls and you had the ability to get out and go away. That's what I did.
I was in Raleigh, North Carolina. I had to go down there because my aunt passed away in 2019. I went to Moonrunners out in Garner, North Carolina, which was one that you and John rescued. It was a pleasure to see John's picture up on the wall. I got to eat the food off the menu. It was great food. And then Guy Wofford.
Wait, hold on. Where was great food?
At the Moonrunners in Garner, North Carolina.
Oh yeah, they're good guys. They try real hard, man. They've really done an amazing job down there. Very, very nice people.
Yeah, they have a food truck now. I know Guy was on one of the back to the bars, and he said he had a food truck, and he was going around checking on all the other guys. He went to New Orleans, checked on checked down there with them guys, Steve Smith and them down there. I'm friends with them on Facebook. I'm friends with some of the ones from Bar Rescue because I like some of the episodes. I'm getting ready to possibly go back down to Raleigh sometime in the next couple of years. I'm going to go visit Todd Haar over there at the one that they did over there with the Marine. They did his bar, that 22 Clicks. Yeah, that's the one I'm going to go see next time I'm down there.
Nice.
But of all the Bar Rescue episodes you did, Chef Duffy, which one did you like the most? That's probably a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, I did a bunch of them. You know, Black Sheep in Cheviot, Cincinnati, and Cheviot, Ohio, was probably one of my favorite ones because, you know, I mean, it was such a weird dynamic with the brothers and the cousins that were involved.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Steve, what was his name? I can't remember his first name.
Steve Scherpenberg, I think his name was.
Scott was his name. Scott
yeah.
was a really, really good dude. I ended up working with those guys for a couple of years after. And it was a really cool experience. I mean, that was probably one of my most favorite episodes. Again, this was, you know, I haven't been on the show in 10 years, but I still have of the almost 200, I think, episodes that they've done. Of the top 10 worst episodes, I have 8 of them. So my shows still air every week.
They
on
do.
Sundays on the Bar Rescue repeat. So, you know, I still get to play around with those, and sometimes I'll check them out. I haven't seen the show in so many years. It's just too much yelling and screaming for me with very little actually getting done. You know, it's not a true world setting. The show is really built up much more as an entertainment value now than it is an educational. That was one of the greatest parts about that show in the beginning, was it was truly educational. You know, restaurants and managers and operators and chefs and everybody, they would tune in on Sunday nights to watch it, and then they would actually discuss it on Monday. So I felt that at that time it was a very, very helpful show. Now, honestly, I just think that it's just, you know, it's all built for entertainment value.
Entertainment value, yeah.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts when Ami called you fat boy?
So the part about that whole scene is, first off, Ami was just a piece of shit. He's a deflector. He had little man's disease across the board.
Right.
You know, I've gone out to Denver multiple times, and Ami will never show up while I'm there. A couple of the bartenders still work there, so it's pretty funny. But I kind of call people out. He was a bully. Little man's disease really didn't, you know, he treated his staff just like shit. He was a horrible boss. He was just mean to people. I listened to him degrade all of those unbelievable women that worked there. At one point, we actually stepped outside of the show because he was getting so angry with everybody that our entire crew pulled out of the show.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
No, you guys did not see this.
No, we didn't see that. No.
This was off camera, where we recorded the whole thing and watched Ami, the whole staff, pull together. And after he flipped out on them and told them that they were nothing if not for him, they would just be whores on the street.
Oh my God!
Was the way that he talked to these people. So that for me kind of fueled me to go back into that show. And one of the producers that actually challenged me and said, you know, I hear you're real good, but I haven't seen much out of you today. So I started to ride Ami a little bit hard when I listened to him talk to one of his servers, and I called him out on it. It never made it to camera, but I called him out on it for treating somebody in such a degrading manner. And he got so angry that he started throwing plates around the kitchen. And the way they edited that was that he and Taffer had gotten in a fight, and then Ami started throwing the plates around. So in reality, to me, I've been called worse names than Fat Boy. And you know what? Hey, no stranger. I'm a rugby playing, beer drinking, used to be beer drinking, cigar smoking kind of guy. So I was a fat boy at that point. I had no problem with that at all. Honestly, my fear was more with the way that he was going about it. That he was actually going to end up getting hurt, because at that point, one of the funny things that happened was Taffer actually we have little IFBs in our ears when we're working, and Taffer was like, can you guys check with legal and see if I can touch him? So that kind of badass moment was actually an afterthought of double checking with legal. So, I mean, that show was a blast. It was a lot of fun to do. We had an amazing time. I still have some of my dearest friends that are from that show. Michael Tips and I are partners on things. Nick Liberato is one of my best friends.
Nick,
Nicky would be great on here. Nicky's a wonderful, wonderful human being.
Oh, great. Yeah. Let me ask you this. You did the one at Downey's with that Italian chef. And I liked that episode a little bit. What was your thoughts on doing that? I know you're from Philly, and I know that it was in Philly, and this guy just let his place get out of control because his brother died and stuff like that. What was your thoughts on that episode?
I think one of the biggest things for me was that was actually the second episode that I had done, but it was the first episode that had aired.
Right.
So for me, that was kind of a trial. We didn't really 100% know what was going on. There was a very, very, very deep story that happened there where his brother shot his mother and then killed himself on Mother's Day.
Wow.
Where they actually had to shut down brunch and pull the bodies out during in the afternoon of brunch. So it was a really, really bad episode, because in reality, Dominic Centofanti was a phenomenal chef. And I know that because he was the chef at the restaurant around the corner from when I was at Downey's. So Dominic, I would eat there. I would check out his food. We shared foods. Hey, can I borrow some onions? Can I grab a little of this, a little of that? So Dominic was really just a shell of himself at that point. Really coming out of a very hard struggle. He was a phenomenal Italian chef who bought a massive property with a lot of problems in the property. And then on top of it, he was locked into having to keep the name of the restaurant as Downey's in the contract. So it was really a tough thing for an Italian chef to be able to come in and do that. The thing that I remember most about that was just how beaten up he was after years of being in the industry and what happened within his family. Right. And then he was so mad at us after we left. We actually left a manager on salary to stay there with him for a month afterwards. Wow. And then he fired him on the day after we left. And then took all the menus and threw them in the trash.
Gosh.
The worst part about that is the fact that he was then cited for continuing to sell food, even though the Board of Health had shut him down. He was still selling food out of the kitchen. Wow. So the building's since been torn down. It's just a blank spot right now. They're going to put amazing condominiums in there that they'll sell for $3 to $4 million a piece. So it's a shame, but these things happen.
Well, it's interesting how these guys do this. And I have a little story I want to tell you here. You know Robert Irvine, right? Restaurant Impossible.
I know Robert very well.
Okay. Well, he came here to Pittsburgh, and he's tried to save a restaurant called Dell's. And I had grew up in Bloomfield, where Dell's is at. And we call it Little Italy. And he tried to save that lady. And the many times I ate in there, I went in there and I knew the owner. Her name was Marianne. And I said, Marianne, I says, right after he came in, I said, where's Robert's menu? Oh, we threw it away. Yeah. I says, why? And she says, oh, he thinks he knows everything. He don't know nothing. Guess what? She went out of business. 60 years, Brian. Yeah. 60 years, chef. Went out of business. And, And I thought that, Robert Irvine wasted his time going there to try to help this woman. And I know what you guys go through with that bar rescue stuff. I know when you did the one in Fells Point, Maryland, with those college kids.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was an interesting episode. And then I heard that they took that, they paid off their debt and sold the place or got out of it, and something else is there. That's what I heard. I hear some of these folks with bar rescue do that, and I don't blame them. I mean,
look, you're giving somebody a new lease on a business. It's a great opportunity to get rid of the property at that point. You can dress a pig up, but you can't make it dance. It doesn't matter. No matter what you do. Look, if you're already running a shitty business, you're going to continue to run a shitty business. It's just the nature of the beast. Why do people get into this industry? To pay homage to themselves? In most cases, you know, it's Ralph's Bar and Grill. It's, you know, I mean,
there you go. Yeah. I would never get into the restaurant business. No offense, chef. I mean, I would never, ever get into it. It's a tough racket. I've seen it with Restaurant Impossible when I watch Bar Rescue all the time. Everyone just had the episodes on this morning on Paramount Plus. Yeah. You can ask my wife. We go on trips. I take my tablet with me. I watch it on Pluto because they have their own channel on Pluto. So I'm always watching Bar Rescue. I love that show so much. I would love to have John on here one of these days. I'm going to see if I can get him on. I would love to talk with him. You know, it'd be interesting. You're involved in a program right now, a barbecue program. I think you're on Bobby Flay's team. Is that correct? Because
I was. Yeah, that was first episode. So that show.
How you doing with that?
Well, I'm glad you haven't watched it and are updated on your information.
I haven't. No. I just watched one episode.
Well, then I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to watch it and then go from there.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll go on demand to watch it. Yeah, there we go.
The show's going very, very well. It is. It has been a tremendous amount of fun to do it. I've become very close with everybody that was on the show. You know, I've done a tremendous amount of judging shows like this for my career. So to be a part of a competition was a big thing for me. It was a big decision for me to make. But I am so I'm always in. I have so much respect for Rock Shrimp Productions, which is Bobby Flay's production company, and the way that they treat the chefs, the way they treat the food, that it really was a no-brainer for me to be able to hop on this show and do it. It was a tremendous experience. I've had a boatload of fun doing the whole thing, but you guys are going to have to watch it to find out what happens.
I'm going to watch it. I'll see what I watched the first couple episodes, and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I did good food, man. And that's really what it came down to. That's really what I wanted to do. You know, I mean, in reality, what bragging rights are nothing. I have college age girls. I need the cash if you're going to win. So I don't need a bragging right. I don't need the ability to be able to put a tattoo on myself. I need, I want the cash.
Oh, there you go. Hey, chef, I wanted to ask you this question, and I know everybody, I know chefs when they get into the business, they put passion into their food. I put passion into my shows here. I do a lot of shows on YouTube here and Facebook, Twitch and Twitter, and then I have a radio show on Tuesday afternoon, a sports show on Beaver County Radio in Western Pennsylvania. Check it out. Awesome. It's on Beaver County Radio's YouTube channel. It's called Sports Corner with myself and Smoke and Jim Frazier. And I put a lot of passion into my shows, as you can see. And, you know, I'm really, really thorough with that. And I know you put a lot of passion into cooking. Is that what the key ingredient is with being a good chef?
You know, I mean, that's a great question, first off. And yes, it's very evident how passionate you are with what you do. You know, passion is something that is important, but honestly, you know, technique and business mind is what is going to make a chef great. You know, I mean, the ability to teach and educate is so much more important than passion. I feel passion while I'm cooking, but I don't have passion for the restaurant industry. I have a responsibility to the restaurant industry. I do pay a lot of respect to the industry for what it is that I've been able to do through my life and my career. I am passionate for cooking, but unfortunately the passion for the restaurant industry has taken a little bit more of a wayside because I feel that I now have a path that I have been put on to raise awareness to what needs to happen within restaurants, to what people have to do. Because right now, when you go through and go across the country, we're all selling the same stuff. We have minimized and diminished the idea of true hospitality down to a dollar sign.
Yes.
So I feel that hospitality is not what it once was. Pandemic really devastated our industry in regards to the help and the passion that was out there.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Your servers were making $1,000 a week, but most of that was tips. And then they go on unemployment and they're bringing home $250. It is just one of the things that I think really hurt. Plus now, most of the employees that are in the kitchen, I mean, they're getting a wage that is not a well-earned wage. It is deserved because we do need to pay our employees more money. But there are too many people in this industry right now that are demanding a high dollar because they know the struggle that we're having with labor and getting people into work. So the problem with that is we're ultimately going to hit a bubble where we are paying employees $25 an hour to come in and cook, and they're really just half-assed slack cooks. They're just showing up for a job,
just like they were if they were paid minimum wage or something. That's the way they're acting, even though they're getting $25 an hour. Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, they were making $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour, which is still a livable wage. But unfortunately, now they're getting $25 an hour because they're going to show up. But that is the type of employee that if somebody offers them a quarter more, they're going to jump ship. So there's no loyalty there.
No, there isn't.
And with it, there's no professionalism. I have had some of the worst meals that I've had in the last 2 to 3 years than I have in my entire life. Because it's all the same food. We have the same food on every menu going across the board. You look at any menu right now and you go down their appetizer section, they have wings with the same 5 sauces, some form of cauliflower, some form of Brussels sprout, some form of cheese or cheese stick, and some form of
mozzarella
80s
stick.
half-ass dip.
Right.
Nobody's being innovative. No, let me rephrase that. The average restaurant right now is not being innovative and they are not being creative. They are trying to keep up with the Joneses. You look at their menu and they might be $1 less than the place up the street because they're too worried about keeping up with the Joneses, which what makes a restaurant special, what makes a restaurant exciting, and what makes a restaurant work is creativity, innovation, and honestly, atmosphere and hospitality. And too many people are shitting the bed because they're putting crappy pre-made food on their menus and they're not paying attention to the full world of hospitality. Too many QR codes, which I love a QR code, too many QR codes and not enough people with knowledge on what it is that they're actually doing from the order taking to the food coming out of the kitchen.
Wow. You know what? I was in the hospitality business for 35 years, chef. I worked a couple jobs as a server. I drove a cab, I drove a bus. So I know how to deal with people. And I dealt with them. And right now, my tolerance for what's been going on in this country is about this much now because of the way people are acting. And I think it's sad. And, and I have restaurants that have actually, that I try to get for sponsors and advertisers on my radio show and on my podcast here. And they all tell me the same thing. I can't because I don't have enough help to justify the business. And that's been I've been hearing that a lot. And I've quoted that today's society, chef, and I think you'll agree with me, doesn't care and nothing because nobody does anything for anybody anymore. And that's really sad. And it's across the board.
I fully agree with you. I think that there's a very select few that are out there that are really, truly grasping what it is to be a human. And then I think on the other level, we are way too involved in politics. We are way too devised as as a nation, as a group. Never have we seen more division than we do right now, which is a shame because I honestly feel that we have really made some massive strides to make some unbelievable worlds happen after everything from the 60s and prior to. I don't give a shit what you look like. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you pray to. If you're a good human, then that makes you a good person. And good people are the people that I surround myself with. I have become very wise in my older age, where I release that which no longer serves me.
I've become wiser. Yeah. We all can get wiser in our older age. I have one comment here that somebody's asked a question for you, chef. How does he feel about restaurants we read about with 1 year reservations, 2 tables, yet get rave reviews. How do you make a profit?
Well, I mean, you're charging a high dollar amount to do that, no matter
Right.
what. I mean, you're looking at, if you've got a restaurant that's got 2 tables, one, that's very odd to me. In
Mhm.
that case, two, I don't really have a desire to go to that location.
Mhm.
And three, I mean, look, you're charging a boatload of money. It's a very
Right, the
minimalistic
food's gonna be
approach to it.
expensive because you only have 2 tables, yeah, or
Yeah, I
4
mean,
tables or
so
whatever,
so
yeah,
in those cases, I mean, that's a niche dining situation. And if somebody can get that dollar amount for that to happen, more power to them. I
right,
mean, I think that your expectations need to be exceeded beyond every single aspect of food service, hospitality, every bit of it.
right,
If somebody can get away with that, more power to them.
mhm.
That's how I
Chef
feel about it.
Chef, I wanna thank you for being part of this program today, it was very special. I've been wanting to do this interview with you for a while, and I finally got connected with your assistant, it was great.
Yeah.
Samantha, she's great, and I wanna thank her as well for her patience, we finally got this going, and then today we had some technical issues, so we got that straightened out, and, it's a matter of computers, you know how it is. So,
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
and yeah, I have an interview later on at 3 o'clock with an author who does sports books, and then I have a meeting. I'm transit council president at 5:30, so I'm a busy guy today as
Yeah.
far as this stuff goes.
I love it,
So,
brother. Well, thanks for
thank you very
squeezing
much,
me in.
Chef. You're welcome. Hey, by the way, before you go, how's the city of brotherly love these days?
Man, I'm not that far from it, about 5.5 hours. It's still one of my favorite cities in the country, despite the
Right.
problems that we're having right now. We have
Okay.
a massive violence problem, a
Uh,
massive gun
we
problem
have
right
it
now.
here too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really pretty bad, and it's a shame because we're a beautiful city that was built off of love and respect and
Right.
honestly democracy because we are the birthplace of our nation. And it's a shame to watch such a historic city fall to pieces and fall to fear because I mean, we just had a very highly decorated naval officer who got the shit beat out of him the other night by a
Uh,
couple of kids. We had
we just
four
had a
shootings.
standoff in one of our communities here in Garfield. And
Yeah.
get this, Chef, I lived in a block down from where that happened, that
Yeah.
standoff and that shooting. I used to live a block down from there. And I said to myself, I said to my wife, I said, I'm glad I don't live there anymore because I would
Yeah.
have been right in the middle of that shooting. And I'm
Yeah, it's
glad I
bad.
don't live there anymore. Yeah. It's
It's
bad.
just a
We have it
shame.
here too. It's in Pittsburgh, so it's terrible. But
Yeah, no,
are
it's
you
all
an
over the
Eagles fan?
country. What's
Are
that?
you an Eagles fan?
Yeah, man. How can you not be an Eagles fan?
I know. I'm a Steeler fan, but and I respect the Eagles. I like the Eagles in the NFC. What do you think they're going to do this year?
I don't have enough knowledge about them to
Right.
to be able to talk about sports. I'm just not a huge. I played rugby and soccer growing up. I
Oh,
love
okay.
football and I love watching the games. I love the game. I fully understand the game, but I don't know enough about the players. I think that
Right.
Sirianni is a phenomenal coach. I think that he is somebody who pulls people together. I think
Hmm.
that he has built a culture within our team that we haven't seen in a really, really long time. And plus, I think that we're bringing people in that just love our city. That's one of the greatest parts. I mean, you look at Kelsey and you look at Hertz, and they just love
Right.
Philadelphia. It's just a one. I mean, Kelsey married a woman from Delco. So how can you beat that?
There you go.
You get a
Hey,
woman from Delco, you got your back.
Ben Roethlisberger married a woman from this area, so that's great. And then
Yeah.
so did T.J. Watt. So I mean, they're so it's pretty interesting how that happens.
Brian Shazier, I met him a bunch of years ago, right before he was injured.
Uh-huh.
And we had a long night out talking about food, and he was trying to have a diet plan put together for him. His wife actually talked to me about,
Right.
kind of creating a little bit of a diet plan for them, a nutritional plan, and keep him super healthy and all that stuff. And, unfortunately, the next season he got whacked pretty hard, and he came
Yeah.
back really strong. I mean, that is a testament of the pure will of some of these athletes and what it is that they put into stuff. So more power to him. And I will tell you this, I had a very wonderful, crazy, over the top evening out with about 8 of the Steelers
Oh,
that we
great.
are not allowed to ever talk about. There were
Okay.
0 pictures from that evening, and it was just
Right.
one hell of a night where we started off at meat and potatoes and moved our way around the city from there. So yeah, it was pretty wild.
Oh yeah. It can be. I mean, but anyway, thank you, Chef, again for
My
being on the
pleasure.
program. and I really appreciate you being here. And maybe we'll have you come back on again, talk later about some other things.
I'd love
But
to.
you have a great day, and God bless you, and have a good one. And thanks for being on the show once again. I would really appreciate you being on. Thank you.
My
It meant a
pleasure, man.
lot to me. All
Thank
right,
you very
Chef.
much for having me.
Thank you. That was Chef Brian Duffy here on Ralph Williams One on One. I apologize. We had some issues with some technical problems getting him on, but we finally got him on, and we were late getting him on, and I had to redo the show. So I apologize for that, but we'll get everything back in order here. Let's get to our sponsors once again here. All right, our sponsors are our studio sponsors, First Line Consulting Services, 1-877-926-6982. You can call them today for all your website needs. If you need to create a website, call them today, because they'll not only create one for you, they'll manage it for you, and they'll upload all your videos, and you pay one low monthly price. So give them a call today, 1-877-926-6982, First Line Consulting Services. They are our studio sponsor here for all RW Media shows. And I have a lot of shows. Those of you who are new to the program, Monday nights at 7 o'clock, I have The Way I See It, and I do it the way I see it. And I tell it like it is on that show as well. On Tuesday afternoon or evening, if you want to call it, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., with my co-host, Smoking Jim Frazier. We have a show called Sports Corner. It's on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 12:30 a.m., 1460 a.m., WBVP and WNBA Radio, Beaver County Radio. It's brought to you by the St. Barnabas Radio Network. And we have a great show. We're also live on Facebook and YouTube. We have some great guests. Yesterday, we had Michael McHenry, former Pirate catcher and broadcaster, on. Next week, I'll tell you what, next Tuesday is going to be phenomenal. We have a special 2 hours, 4 to 6 p.m., Beaver County Radio. We are doing a Steelers special. I have a guest list for you that's phenomenal. We're going to start off with from Steel City Sports World, okay? And Smoking Jim Frazier is part of that, and the Boxing Authorities as well. Luther Dupree and Claudio Rosano. All right, they were on my first show. They're going to be on again next Saturday or Tuesday, I'm sorry, to talk Steelers. And then I have Rafa DePaldo coming on from the Post-Gazette. I have Bubba Brewer coming on from the 3Bs podcast. He's a big-time Steeler fan. He even goes to all the games. All he talks is Steelers, but you know what? He's a phenomenal guy. He has passion for what he does. He talks, about Steelers and wrestling. He's also involved as a co-host with me on Wrestle Talk. And I tell you what, he makes the show so much better. He is a great guy, Bubba Brewer. You'll get to hear him when he comes on next Tuesday. And then at 5 o'clock, we have a Draft 412 invasion. My friends at Draft 412 are coming on. Emmett Mahan, JT Toth, and Joe Kuglis. All three of them are coming on. All right. And we're going to talk about Steelers. We're going to dissect the season. They just signed a new free agent today from the Texans. So I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one of the most phenomenal shows ever when we talk about Steeler football gets you ready for the season. All right. And then tonight, barring any hurricanes or anything like that, at 10:30 tonight, I will be on the Sports Web with Peter Blake to talk Turnbuckle Talk. We talk wrestling from 10:30 to about, excuse me, from 10:30 to about 11:15. And it's myself, Mark Mancini, and the host, Peter Blake, from the Sports Web, barring the hurricane. All right. So, praying for them down there in Tampa about that as well. Later on this afternoon, 3 p.m., I will be back here with Ralph Williams one-on-one. Clayton Trudeau will be my guest. Clayton has written a book about Atlanta sports in Atlanta, Georgia, and he's also written a book just recently about Boston sports. He'll share that with us. He'll share with us about what's going on with the Falcons, because he was supposed to be on my radio show a few weeks back, and he had a family issue, so he was unable to be on, but that's fine, because we're going to have him on today on The Way I See It, or I'm sorry, Ralph Williams one-on-one, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Doubleheader of Ralph Williams one-on-one, and we have some great guests coming on. I have Harry the Greek coming on real soon, and I have a bunch of people coming on. It's going to be phenomenal right here on Ralph Williams one-on-one, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms as well. Thursday night, Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631 is the number to call for you to listen to Wrestle Talk, one of the best shows in the nation as far as wrestling talk goes. We'll talk WWE, AEW, NWA, ROH, MLW, Impact, all those groups we will talk about. We do talk about all on Wrestle Talk, some big stuff going on, and we'll have all that for you on Thursday. Don't forget Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m., the External Bum podcast with myself, Scott Morganroth, Mark Mancini, and Joe Kuglis. Great show, 10:30 a.m. right here on on the same four platforms. We have myself and Leo Haggerty telling it like it is. All right, great show there as well. All right, let's talk about Three Rivers Karting. Three Rivers Karting is in Leedsdale, and you're probably wondering, well, what's karting mean? Well, it means go-karts. This place has some great go-karts, pool tables. They have axe throwing. You can book a private party. We'll give them a call today. They're in Leedsdale at 541 Avenue B, and that is in the industrial park there in Leedsdale. 412-527-8464, Three Rivers Karting. I want to talk to you today about Sleep Pittsburgh, 412-462-7858, Sleep Pittsburgh. They will handle all your sleep needs. If you need a mattress, if you need a lift chair, if you need a futon, which you can turn into a bed, if you have like a small apartment, you want to have somebody over and you don't have any room, you can get a futon and it converts from a couch into a bed. It's very comfortable. Those futons are very nice. They also have lift chairs, as I mentioned before, if you're handicapped like me and you need a lift chair recliner. They also sell bunk beds for your children, and they also sell day beds. So give them a call today, 412-462-7858. They're in Homestead, right on 8th Avenue. If you want to go over and check them out, tell them you heard it here on Ralph Williams One-on-One or on RW Media Productions. Also, check them out because you know why? Sleep Pittsburgh has no credit check financing. So check that out as well. You'll like that also. So Sleep Pittsburgh and Homestead right on 8th Avenue, 412-462-7858. They'll also do your order over the phone as well. And I want to talk also, how about this? Would you like to go see a show, a cover band that plays Bon Jovi and Journey music? Well, I have a band for you. It's called Bon Journey. This is the real Bon Journey, not the fake one you see out there. The real Bon Journey. All right, they've been around since 2006. Rob Shine, Gary Biggerstaff, Dan Newman, all right, Justin Walker, and Matt Friday. Some great musicians, and they play some great music too. Some great Bon Jovi and Journey tunes, and they do some other cover tunes as well in between. But they're going to be at the waterfront at Burke Eye Lake, and that is in Thornville, Ohio, 130 miles from Pittsburgh. Once you head on out there today and see Bon Journey, as they're going to be there as well. That's this Saturday, 7 to 11 p.m. If you're interested in being a sponsor here on any of my shows, RW Media Productions, I stress this, okay? Call Fred Schaefer today, 412-354-0436. And the reason I say that is because I know how important it is to make money. All right. And you're a business that's trying to make money, of course. All right. You wouldn't be in business. But call Fred today because I have some affordable sponsorship advertising rates that you need to know about. I also have button advertising on my website, rwmedia.org. All right. Check my website out. All right. For button advertising, I can put you right up there. Cost is very economical. So call Fred today, 412-354-0436. You get everything. You get all my podcasts. You get my national shows on Blog Talk Radio. You get the radio show on Beaver County Radio. All of it. All my podcasts here on these platforms. All right. So call Fred today, 412-354-0436 for sponsorship advertising. I know your business is going to need it. So give me a call. All right. Or give Fred a call. All right. I want to talk to you about another sponsor of ours, Draft 412. Let me talk to you about Draft 412. Draft 412 is a website that breaks down athletes, and they handle all the drafts. I was at a draft party with Draft 412. Let me tell you something. When they put on a party, they put a party on, okay? And I was at a draft party with them, Emmett Mahan, JT Toth, Dave Finoli, Chris Fletcher, and Joe Kuglis. These guys put on one heck of a program. And let me tell you, they're good experts at what they do. They have an e-magazine that you can subscribe to for $9 a month. $9 a month. Come on. You want to know about sports? You want to know about the players? You want to know their statistics? You want to know their analytics? You want to know all that stuff? What you do is you call or you get a hold of Draft 412 by going on their website, draft412.com, and check it out and subscribe. All right. All right. Next is our next sponsor is one of our best sponsors, Hillcrest Farm and Beef out in Richmond, Ohio. Now, Richmond, Ohio is not far from Pittsburgh. It's 45 minutes. And if there's no traffic because of Star Lake down 22, you could really, really, really get there. Okay. And quickly. All right. It's right across the bridge from right across. As soon as you cross the suspension bridge, go up the hill and you'll go right up into Richmond, Ohio. Beautiful little town. All right. But in the outskirts, a little ways there is Hillcrest Farm. Call them today, 740-346-5442, 740-632-2894. I go out there. I get my $95 ground beef package, 20 pounds, $95. They also have some other variety packs. I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want you to take down their email at hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com. If you have any questions or anything you want to know about. And also, you can check their website out, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. And also, they have a Facebook page, Hillcrest Farm, as well. They are also shipping. So get on their website, check out what they have. I'm going to give you a scenario here about some of their package deals. And their package deals are like this. Variety pack, $195. You get 4 pounds of burgers, 10 pounds of ground beef, 2 packs of filet mignon, 2 roasts, and 10 steaks. 10 steaks. You could have 10 people over and have a steak cookout with this package deal. You could have 2 roasts for Sunday. You can have 2 packs of filet mignon. You get 10 pounds of ground beef that you can use for anything, and 4 pounds of burgers, $195. You can't get that anywhere else. None of these other places are as good as Hillcrest Farm. Roast box, $200. You get 7 roasts, which means you can have 7 Sunday dinners. You get 30 pounds of ground beef. The ground beef box, as I mentioned, $95 for 20 pounds of ground beef. So please don't delay. Call today. 740-346-5442, 740-632-2894. All right, don't forget this afternoon, 3 p.m., another edition of Ralph Williams One-on-One. We are going to be having Clayton Trudor on as a guest. I want to thank all those who are watching today, and I want to thank Chef Brian Duffy for a great interview. We had a great time on here. One of my best shows, and I've had some great guests on this program, and you know it. And it's getting better and better, and it's going to get better and better. And also, don't forget all RW Media shows. You can punch them up on my website, www.rwmedia.org. And coming will be the Wrestle Talk, and the rest of them you'll be able to punch up on there. Don't forget to tune in to the archive versions on Blog Talk Radio. Go to Mancini Media, and then punch up the archive version of Wrestle Talk or the External Boom podcast as well. Everyone have a great day. Thank you. I'll be talking with you at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and have a good one and be safe.